Welcome to what promises to be a very sunny escape to the country. Now, the story goes that in 1767, King George III nearly came a cropper right here when his coach nearly foundered in the river when he was trying to cross it during a flood. So he decreed that whoever built a bridge here could charge a toll and it would be tax-free forever. But who did build this beautiful structure? Well, join me in just a moment and I'll tell you. Today, our property-hungry pair are swapping the slopes of Switzerland for the rolling hills of England in what they hope will be their final move.
Love it.
Books.
More books.
Jill's library. It's really nice.
Yeah.
And their prospective homes might need a little lateral thinking.
It's a nice space.
And this is definitely more manageable.
Well, today we are in Oxfordshire, and this is Swinford Bridge, which crosses the River Thames. Following George III's decree, in 1769 the bridge was built by the Earl of Abingdon. What's more, it's governed by an Act of Parliament, making it illegal to build a bridge within 3 miles of here, up or downstream. Now, thankfully, the pedestrian toll was abolished in 1835, but they still charge 5 tax-free pennies for every car that crosses it. Not a bad little earner, really. Situated in southern England, landlocked Oxfordshire is bordered by 6 counties, including Gloucestershire, Wiltshire and Berkshire. The Chiltern Hills make a striking appearance to the south of the county and are a designated area of outstanding natural beauty, covering 324 square miles over 4 counties. Here, lush fields give way to rolling hills, while cattle graze amidst the verdant countryside. One of the architectural gems of the Oxfordshire landscape is Blenheim Palace in Woodstock in the centre of the county. It's a striking example of early 18th century Baroque architecture and the birthplace of Sir Winston Churchill. The region is also home to charming towns like Burford, with honey-coloured Cotswold stone buildings lining the streets, and Wallingford, which has the tranquil River Thames running through it. But that's not its only draw. The popular television series Midsummer Murders is filmed in the area, and crime writer Agatha Christie once lived here too. So for escapees from city life partial to a mix of stunning scenery, classic culture and eye-catching architecture, Oxfordshire could make a fitting place to call home. Now, in 2015, a new rail line is set to open between Oxford and London, meaning that travellers here will have not 1 but 2 mainline options to get them into the capital city. And that, combined with stunning countryside and some beautiful towns and villages, means that as a whole, Oxfordshire is pretty expensive. And to put that in context, the cost of your average detached home here is currently £425,000. Compare that to the national figure of £275,000, and you get the idea that if you fancy a bit of Oxfordshire, you are going to have some pretty deep pockets. So let's meet today's buyers and find out just how deep theirs are. Jill and Bob have recently returned to the UK after 13 years living and working in Switzerland. They've been in this rented apartment in northwest London, which they're using as a base whilst they search for a new home for 8 months.
We love living in Hampstead because of the amenities here and the bookshops and the cafe culture. Hampstead is really beautiful. So we're getting spoilt. We sort of love the city, but we don't want to live in the city.
Environmental engineer Bob is moving into semi-retirement. He spent much of his working life abroad, and he and Jill met in Derbyshire, where they both grew up just before he was due to set off to the other side of the world over 3 decades ago.
My first job was in South Africa and I had a leaving party, and my next door neighbour brought Jill down to the party. So that's where we met. And fortunately, my departure to South Africa was delayed, so we had 6 months together, didn't we?
31 years ago, they tied the knot and they have 2 grown-up daughters. Their family couldn't be happier that they're back on home soil, and Jill and Bob don't want to be too far from either their daughters in London or other family members in Derbyshire.
We're looking forward to buying a house and settling and putting down roots in the UK, specifically Oxfordshire. Oxfordshire, for me, is easy access to family, Derbyshire and London. It's countryside, it's beautiful in that area.
And it has all the
It's a great
things
centre.
that we want: culture, sporting activities, golf and tennis. So even though we want to move to the country, we want access to cultural and other things as well.
We love beautiful scenery and long walks, hikes, and it just gives us the scope and the space to do what we want to do. We just prefer to be in a more of a rural location than in the city. So that's what we're both looking forward to.
And after so long away from home, the couple are also looking forward to staying put.
We've moved a lot of times. Switzerland's been the most consistent, stable part of
But
our living
we've
together.
been married for 30 years and we've lived in 16 houses.
We don't have to be specifically somewhere for job. We don't have to be specifically anywhere for the girls' schools. So it's an open book now.
It took Jill and Bob 4 years to find their house in Switzerland and a lot of hard work to turn it into their dream home.
We totally renovated it,
From top to bottom.
transformed it.
We're not frightened of a project, big projects.
They're both excited about their new life back in the UK, and they're also excited about finding a home for all their belongings.
We've got lots of boxes we haven't unpacked from 8 months ago.
It's frustrating and it's tiring. You know, sort of, it's like camping. I don't want to camp anymore. I want to find a new home for all of my things, as well as for us, you know.
Jill and Bob are happy to consider moving anywhere in Oxfordshire, so we have the freedom to cast our net far and wide. But before we do, I'm meeting them in this green county to go over the finer details of their proposed move.
So why Oxfordshire, Bob?
It's a beautiful county, and we want to be in striking distance from London, but also access to Derbyshire, where we have family as well, so we think this is the right place.
So what is your perfect home going to look like?
Well, we like traditional, we like old buildings, but we like to sort of renovate or for it to have a modern feel on the inside. I want a fabulous kitchen, open plan. We want it to be the hub of the house. And patio doors onto a fabulous terrace and great views. That's what I would ideally like.
So what would be a real no-no?
Really low ceilings.
Beams and low ceilings, yeah.
And obviously you've come back to be closer to family. They're going to come and stay. So how many bedrooms do you think you need?
I think 4, maybe 5, depending on if there's a study. If there's a study, then we need fewer bedrooms. You know, and I'm hoping that this is the last time we're going to be moving, and so this is the final resting place. You know, this is where we're going to make our family home from now on.
And what about you, Bob?
I've done woodwork at stages in my life earlier on at school, and it's something that I've really enjoyed, so if we could have a workshop or something to escape to in the garden, that would be fantastic.
I like where you're coming from. That's my kind of house too. Now give us an idea of how much you are going to spend on this.
We're aiming for 800,000, but we can go a little bit higher, so up to $1 million if it's absolutely perfect and we don't have much to spend or do on it after that.
So the kind of petty cash drawer has got £200,000 in it. Wow, what an opportunity.
Yes.
All right then, generous budget. The property market here is fabulous, as you probably know. And we've got 3 properties to show you to get this move underway, to find what you hope will be your final home. Shall we?
Yes.
Come on, let's go.
Jill and Bob have a very generous budget, but they have chosen one of the most costly regions in the UK to live in, so I hope we can find them what they want. They're not keen on cottages or beams, but they're happy to take on a project as they've done in the past, and they're hoping for 4 or 5 bedrooms. Jill would love a large kitchen diner with doors to the garden, which can become the hub of their home. Bob is looking for a workshop to call his own, and they would both be happy to be close to a centre with shops, eateries, and access to culture. We found 3 distinctive properties, one of which could be Jill and Bob's 17th and last home together. And once they've toured each one, we'll let them in on its price. The last stop will be the Mystery House, and today it will require a very good imagination, so if our couple remain open-minded, this could be the home they've been dreaming of. For our first offering, we're heading slightly west of the centre of Oxfordshire to the town of Witney, just under 12 miles west of Oxford. Witney is a thriving market town, providing locals with a great centre packed with a variety of shops in its busy and attractive high street of stone buildings. Alongside food, book and interiors retailers is a great selection of pubs and eateries, a home away from home for ex-city dwellers. Just a 10-minute walk from the centre of town is our first property, a grand detached house located in a quiet cul-de-sac.
That's pretty.
Isn't it?
Yes, it's very nice.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And this one really, I think, is all about location and those transport links that you need to get into London and, of course, up to Derbyshire.
That looks lovely.
It's got a nice old feel to it, this classic, warm, honey-coloured stone that this part of the world is famous for.
Is it a new build?
It is.
New build.
You see?
Yeah, it's got character. But it's looking good.
Shall we?
Yes.
Let's go.
This house was built from reconstituted stone around 34 years ago and extended in 2001 to create this bright, spacious home. Through a large reception hall is a very large living room which opens onto the garden.
Wow. This is nice.
Very nice.
But it does have a beam.
It does have a
Got a
beam.
beam.
This place is awash with oak. And when they set about renovating this property and extending it back in 2001, they sourced it all from France.
Wow. It's lovely. Got a nice open feel. I like this.
Behind you, you've got what the current owners use as their sort of winter...
Yeah, snug.
Snug. I mean, I get the feeling that this is the sort of style that would appeal.
Yes, it is.
It is nice. It is really nice.
It is. Yeah. Even though the room perhaps isn't huge, but it has an airiness to it, which I like.
Also on the ground floor, there's a room which would be perfect as a study, and at the back of the house is a large kitchen diner, also with access to the garden.
This is nice.
It is nice.
Yeah?
Yeah, I could hack this.
Come and have a look at it. It's huge. It goes on round this corner. You've got the central island, as it were.
No, this is lovely. Really nice.
Bright.
Yeah, I like
as
it.
well.
Yeah.
It's just super.
No, but the bones of it, it's nicely done. And I really like the window, the feature there. That's beautiful.
It does look really good.
Yeah? There's a great smile here, Bob.
It's a good living
Yeah,
space. It's a lovely living space.
Off the kitchen is a larder, and next to that there's a utility room and also a cloakroom. Moving upstairs, there are 5 bedrooms, including 2 large doubles, both flooded with light, and there are also 2 comfortable single bedrooms, one currently a bright study. Plus, there are 2 good-sized bathrooms.
And then this is yours.
Yeah.
Nice.
Good feeling of space.
Yes. Yeah, like it.
It also has that rather special ensuite. Go and have a look at that.
Yep, like it.
Yeah?
Yeah, there's sort of a European flair to this. And also we have a giant bed. So that's important to us because our bed's been with us for 30 years. So it has to...
Time for a new one.
No, it's not.
Bed with history.
Well, Jill and Bob definitely seem taken with this property. I'm just not sure quite how much.
I love the double aspect there.
Well, that's what this is all about.
Yep.
As we move outside to the pretty garden with its sun terrace plus 2 small outbuildings, one of which could be transformed into a workshop for Bob, they can really take in the property from the back.
That's the garden. Is it big enough?
Yes.
Yeah, it's definitely big enough.
Yes, it is.
It's nice and secluded, nice and private. And I think this aspect of the property is lovely. You can see where it's all been sort of added to and how it's grown over the years.
Everything's been done sympathetically and it's still interesting. Even though it's quite a new house, it's still interesting.
It's definitely really livable space.
So, in terms of the price, you've got 800 to $1 million to spend. Where does this one come on the scale of things?
Well, for me, I would say 825,000.
Yeah, Bob?
I would say a little bit more than that. I would say 849.
849. That's it, very precise. OK. The thing about this one is that this is under 800,000. It's on at 775.
It's pleasing.
Go and have a look around. Go and explore upstairs, why not?
Yeah.
And see how those bedrooms would work for you. And just enjoy it, you know.
Yeah.
Take your time.
OK.
Off you go.
Right, thank
Great.
you.
This fantastic detached stone house is surprisingly £25,000 under the bottom end of Jill and Bob's budget. So, coupled with the fact that the house barely needs anything doing to it, it would leave them a great amount of cash to enjoy in Bob's spare time as he moves into semi-retirement. It's got the number of bedrooms they were hoping for, plus a study, and the inside space is bright and airy, with a kitchen diner ideal to take on the role of the heart of the home. There are also not one but 2 rooms opening onto the garden, and there's even scope to give Bob his workshop.
When I first saw the house, I was impressed. It has a traditional look to it, but it has a new feel. Traditional, new, so it suits what we like. The house definitely lends itself to having family and friends, especially the kitchen. I love the triple aspect to it, light and airy, and a great space, because everybody tends to gravitate to the kitchen, whatever happens.
I think coming into the house, it comes into its own. It's a really bright space. It's very, very livable. I think it's homely, and I could live here.
Good. Well, that's it. Our first house tour is done and dusted. Have we spoilt you?
Yes, you have.
Yeah,
great
great.
start.
But also comfortably under budget.
A lot lower than expected. I thought it was going to be high.
I think we'll spend it all by the end of the week. Yeah.
Jill and Bob are keen sailors and love being on the water, and as Oxford is synonymous with punting, we've arranged for them to visit the Cherwell Boathouse, an Edwardian punt hire station, to see how these boats are created and have a go on the water themselves. Carpenter Bob Dowling has been crafting these boats in the workshop here for 20 years.
Hello there.
Nice to meet you, Jen.
Hello, Bob.
there.
Good to meet you.
And you?
What wood do you use to build the punts?
The sides are African mahogany, bottoms marine ply, and some lumps of Iroko for the treads and ends.
How much does the whole punt weigh?
It's not that heavy at all. It's 200 kilos, maybe a bit less.
Are the punts predominantly built by hand, or do you have?
Pretty much, yeah. Obviously, you know, I don't saw the planks out of the log myself. There's a big machine that does that for me.
Some boats have a shaped bottom or hull and a pointed front or bow, but these beauties have features that set them apart from others.
Why exactly does the boat have a flat bottom? Is that to make it more stable?
Shallow rivers is the main thing,
yeah.
and it's evolved as from a cargo carrying thing, and it's easy to put stuff on a flat bottom.
How long does it take to build the boat?
The woodwork takes about a month, and then the painting and varnishing takes about another month.
There are more than 80 beautifully constructed punts afloat here on the River Cherwell, and now they've seen where they stem from, Jill and Bob are going to experience a trip in one. Roger Forster has run the boat hire side of the business here for 23 years and sees around 6,000 students, locals and tourists a year enjoy taking the punts out on the river.
Right.
I'm not sure I was expecting that.
Whoa.
Today, Ray has the job of the chauffeur. This peaceful way of travelling the river is seen as a very English activity, but Oxford isn't the only university city famous for its punting trips. Arch rival Cambridge is too.
Is punting specific to Oxford and Cambridge, or do you find it elsewhere in the UK?
There's a few other places, Stratford, Bath,
Okay.
but I think it's most popular in Oxford and Cambridge because of the abundance of students and the tradition that they've made it.
How does the British punt compare to the Italian gondola?
Well, they're very, very different. I think the important difference is that you will always be chauffeured in a gondola. There will always be the gondolier doing the paddling for you. The big difference is that when you go punting in Oxford, you'll do it yourself.
So what makes a good punter?
Practice. Twice a week, we recommend.
In years gone by, punting was reserved for the wealthy, but today it's an affordable, accessible pastime. Jill and Bob have returned to dry land to pick up some obligatory refreshments before hopping back on board and taking to the helm themselves.
A little more to your right, darling.
Oh, wait a minute. That way. Oh, yeah.
I'll direct.
There we go.
I just knew that you'd be a good punter.
And you're going to have a try in a minute. Jill, do you want to go at this?
No, thank you.
No, I think you should.
I don't think this is a good idea. Oh, no. I really do not want to get wet. Oh, this is so easy.
Cheers, Jill.
Cheers, Bob.
And what better way to take in the stunning Oxfordshire scenery, soon to be their new home.
Do you need some help? Back on course.
For our second property, we're journeying 9 miles west to the village of Fulbrook. It's just over 20 miles west of the centre of Oxford and just a mile north of the picturesque town of Burford. The main street of Burford sits on a steep hill with beautiful views of the Oxfordshire countryside from the top. Cotswold stone buildings line the streets with a delightful mix of artisan shops, restaurants and pubs. A 6-minute drive or 15-minute walk takes us from bustling Burford to our second house. This period property is perfectly situated within minutes of open countryside.
All right then, Jill and Bob, here we are. This is it, property number 2. What do you think?
Yeah.
That's a very quiet laugh.
No, it's
It's old.
interesting.
It's definitely old.
It really is old. A lot older than our first property. It is effectively a barn conversion, but to be perfectly honest, it's unlike almost any other I have seen, because you've got the outside wings of the barn and then the central bit has been removed to create this courtyard.
It doesn't look like a barn conversion at all.
This unusual barn, built from Cotswold stone, dates back to the 17th century on the outside, but was converted to a family home in 1982. And off the entrance hall is a sitting room.
Oh.
Yes?
It's cottagey.
I wouldn't have described it as cottagey, more barny. I'm struggling.
Yeah, no, it's cottagey.
This is not your principal living room.
Okay.
Don't worry about space.
Okay, all
This
right.
is but one of 4 reception rooms you've got to play with. The main event's through here.
Okay.
Have a look at this.
On the other side of the hallway and down a few stairs is another huge reception room. This one has a sloped ceiling and skylights as well as doors to the garden.
Now, to me, this doesn't feel that cottagey.
No, it doesn't.
This definitely feels more barn-like.
Yes, I like this. I love the wooden floor.
It's a great space. It's
Yeah.
a lovely living space.
Yeah.
It's a mixture of garden room, living room, dining room.
It's light and airy, but there's a certain elegance to it, which I quite like.
Thankfully, this fabulous bright room has got Jill and Bob back on side, and just next door to it is a farmhouse-style kitchen. But is it good enough to be the heart of Jill's home?
No, it's not doing it for me.
No?
No.
I thought we turned a corner for a moment.
No.
Bob, help me. What's happened?
Well, I think
If we can
I
knock
think
that
Jules
wall
like
out...
it open.
Yeah.
But
Because I like to be far more connected to the living space
Yes.
when I'm cooking.
OK. What if you put the kitchen next door?
That is a thought. Yeah.
See, it's really interesting. I had really high hopes for this one. I thought, of all of our properties, this is the one you're going to love.
I must admit, I love that space.
Yeah.
And I like the oldie worldy aspect to it.
you're pretty connected.
It's worth thinking
I think
about.
a bit of time, it'll grow. We've got to see. I think the rest.
You see, he's being an optimist.
I'm the realist.
Also on the ground floor, there's a utility room, a cloakroom, a snug, and a garage-cum-workshop. Upstairs, the unique layout continues with a long landing linking the 2 ends of the barn, leading to another living area, this time a library.
I love it.
Books.
More books.
Jill's library. It's really nice.
Yeah.
It's unexpected, huge space,
Yeah.
this. I mean, it could be a bedroom, it doesn't have to be, but I love it.
I like this.
Yeah.
Also on this floor, there's a family bathroom, a character double bedroom and a quirky single, both linked by a dressing area. And above, on the second floor, are 2 bedrooms in the eaves. But back on the first floor,
Across this lovely gallery is
nice.
the main bedroom.
Wow. Interesting.
That's the story of this house.
Yes, it is.
You
yes.
know, it's all interesting. You've got an upstairs mezzanine, which gives you a dressing area.
Yeah.
This is the master because it's got the ensuite. Is this still a grower, Bob?
Yeah, it's growing. I love the landing that connects everywhere.
I'm glad you're keeping an open mind because I think this is a really fun proposition for you because of the space that it offers and a place that you could grow into,
Yes.
bearing in mind you don't want to move again.
this house has certainly got Jill and Bob thinking. So let's see what they'll make of the outside space, an attractive terrace and garden laden with fruit trees and flowers.
Now, as would be fitting with such an unusual house, the garden is also fairly unusual in its layout because nothing here is conventional, long and thin, but with a slightly exotic feel over here.
Yes.
Yeah.
And a very Cotswold feel over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, the price.
For me, about 850,000.
850, Bob?
I would say a bit higher, 870.
870, 850. You are right to be higher. But I'm afraid for this one, you're going to have to go a lot higher. It's Burford, it's a big house, and it's the Cotswolds. It's £950,000.
Whoa.
Okay.
Go and have a wander around. There's a lot to take in with this one.
Yeah.
It is.
Go on then, off you
Okay.
go.
OK.
You ramble that
All
way,
right.
and I shall ramble this way.
This 17th century barn conversion may be on the costly side, but it is £50,000 below the top end of Jill and Bob's budget. The slightly hefty price tag comes with its hugely desirable Cotswolds location. But it is a great space for entertaining with its various reception rooms, and it's got the 5 bedrooms thereafter. It's also got a great garage providing an ideal workspace for Bob. And it's got the advantage of being close to stunning countryside, but it's also got great access to the transport links, shops, eateries and culture Jill and Bob are after.
I really like this space.
Yeah.
The landing.
I like the ramblingness of the different stairways.
I think it's like a Pandora's box. You see it from the outside and it's very attractive. It's got a lot of character. And you come inside and then there's a lot to explore. And I think the main living areas, this and the kitchen and the garden as well, are very special.
It's a big space. I do feel as if I would need a lot of money to do this place justice, really, I think. It's a fabulous house. I love it. I love the space and the quirkiness of it. But I do have reservations about whether it's for us or not.
Now, I wonder if these are in any way ready. To my surprise, they really are. They're absolutely delicious.
Tastes like grape juice.
This is another reason why you should buy this house, shouldn't you, Jill?
Well, it's a fabulous house. I just wish my best friend lived here.
Really? That's an interesting way of putting it.
It's not sure it's for me.
Oh, very cryptic, Bob.
I liked it. It grew on me the whole time. I love the space and the interesting, good different parts of the house.
Well, you've got tonight to work on Jill, to persuade her that maybe this could work. But, of course, we have got our mystery house tomorrow to show you. Come on, then. Let's have a drink.
It's the second day of our Oxfordshire trip, looking for a new home for Jill and Bob from Hampstead, northwest London. Now they've returned to the UK after 13 years abroad. They've got a very healthy budget of between £800,000 and £1 million to spend, and they're looking for somewhere they can put their own stamp on. Coming up, our mystery house is going to require Jill and Bob to think big.
I don't know if I could do anything with it, but I love it.
And I'll be getting ahead with a very British accessory.
There you have your initial shape of your hat.
Look at that. My hat really is taking shape. Well, yesterday I thought went rather well, but I do get the sense there is a bit of a conundrum going on between Jill and Bob. She, I think, prefers property number 1, and he, I think, prefers property number 2. So what can we come up with for our mystery house? Well, on Escape to the Country, as you well know, we do like to thrill our buyers with our final property, and often as not, we use all kinds of superlatives to describe our mystery houses. But on this occasion, to be honest, I'm lost for words.
For our third and final property, we're travelling 37 miles southeast to the hamlet of Nuffield. It's just over 17.5 miles from Oxford and is the closest of our 3 houses to London, and it sits in the Chilterns area of outstanding natural beauty. Less than 2 miles away is the village of Nettlebed, which has all the essentials on offer in its pretty streets, including a deli and a pub. In the middle of the village, there's a statuesque old pottery kiln built in the late 17th or early 18th century, remembering a time when the area was well known for brickmaking. Just a 4-minute drive and we're on the edge of Nuffield at our last offering. And it won't take long for Jill and Bob to realise why it's earned itself the title of our mystery house.
Well, Bob and Jill.
There's a lot of roof.
It's a lot of barn.
A lot of barn.
Why have we brought you here? You're probably wondering. With our mystery houses, we like to give ourselves a little bit of latitude in terms of what we offer you. But I know that you have done some major renovations in your time, and that's what this needs.
Yeah.
And to find a property like this on the market, this close to London, is a rarity. It is an opportunity to turn a beautiful medieval barn,
Medieval.
positively medieval, into a stunning home. Let's see what you think of the inside.
Okay.
This striking period barn is Grade 2 listed and is built from brick and flint with a steeply pitched clay tile roof. It's attached, but it's so large that the majority of the property sits away from the party wall. The most recent resident here was a bespoke antiques business.
Whoa.
Wow.
I love it. I love it.
You see?
I don't know if I could do anything with it, but I love it.
It's got a few beams.
It has got lots of bits.
I mean, it's a real gem,
Oh,
this.
I love that.
Yeah? It has planning permission.
Yeah.
That's why we're here, because it's good to go in terms of being
Yeah.
developed further. So one could imagine other floor levels in here,
Yeah.
4 to 5 bedrooms,
Yeah.
living space. Well, wow, where do you start?
In the early 20th century, the interior of this superb barn was remodelled following the arts and crafts movement. A style which was à la mode, using traditional craftsmanship and led by textile designer William Morris.
I love the floor.
Now, this is also arts and crafts,
Yeah, I love it.
as are these lovely windows. So it's a mixture of periods, if you like.
Yeah.
The fireplace was arts and crafts. Obviously, it wouldn't have had a fireplace originally.
That's a wow. I love that. It's not a space that's totally overwhelming. It's still doable. It's stunning as a conversion project.
It's an open book, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
It's,
And you can see why we thought this was worth you seeing, because it's so rare to find something like this in its raw state, but nonetheless in a condition that's really ready to go.
But this huge empty shell isn't all there is to see here. From its days as an antiques merchant, there's a small kitchen, cloakroom, and upstairs there's an office. But back on the ground floor, there's yet another room hidden from view.
So, walking through the living room, or whatever. But do have in mind, as we go through here, that blocked up doorway there. All right? That will make sense. Right, Jill, this, I think, would make a fabulous kitchen.
Wow.
it's a nice space.
And this is definitely more manageable.
Absolutely. That's the door that goes through to the main barn.
Okay.
I'm imagining a huge range down there, kitchen either side, dining, living space.
We could look at making this a self-contained area for, the girls coming to visit.
Or a workshop.
Or a workshop.
Oh, yes. I hadn't thought of that. Yeah.
Neither had I.
Yeah. I love the way you've grasped this one. Not everybody would, but you can probably tell this is the sort of project I relish, and I think you probably would too, if you want to do it, if it's for the right money.
The cavernous interior isn't all that's on offer here either. There are beautiful gardens both front and back.
A walled garden.
And what's lovely about this is that you do get, effectively, 2 gardens, which is rather nice, actually. This lovely kind of enclosed veranda area and this walled garden. It's quite exciting, isn't it?
Yeah,
It is.
it's pretty. It's very pretty.
And you get the evening sun onto the veranda.
I think Bob's quite excited about this one.
I am. I think it's a real opportunity. It's got great potential.
Well, let's talk about its value then, because let's face it, we can't move this forward without knowing what it costs. So, madam.
I think around 900,000.
Yep.
£900,000.
Bob?
I'm going to be optimistic and say 800,000.
You're laughing, aren't you?
I don't think so.
He's right.
He's right! Wow.
£800,000. Go back inside, let your imaginations go wild, and I will come and find you a little bit later on.
All right.
Sounds good.
Thanks, Jules.
And I don't think you'll get lost, Summer. Brilliant. Well, every now and then on Escape to the Country, a real gem comes along, a gem among gems. And for me, this really is one of them. It is an exceptional property, and when it's done and finished, wow, what a place it'll be.
Jill and Bob have said they'd be happy with the project, but they weren't expecting one quite as big as this. But that's what you get with the Mystery House. This spectacular medieval listed barn, which comes with planning permission, is £200,000 under their top budget, meaning they would have a very healthy kitty to convert this 4,000 square foot blank canvas into the home of their dreams.
What's going through my mind at the moment is whether this is a real goer, whether it's a feasible project for us to be able to afford. Love it.
It's huge. It's just a huge project. And you've got to be really brave to take on something like this, but it could be fantastic. I think it's got so much potential, and I think we can do it.
Maybe we're mad enough to take it on. Maybe. It's exciting. It's an exciting
I think the
project.
main thing is just getting more light. It needs light.
And how can we do that?
Well, I thought glass here coming in through there, just beaming light in.
But match the glass at both sides?
Yeah.
I like the way you're thinking.
Yeah.
This is all good. I knew you'd be creative with this one, and you haven't let me down. It's a building that's crying out for somebody to take it on.
To love it.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
But will it be you? We've given you 3 to choose from. You've got a lot to consider.
Yeah.
Okay.
Come on then. After you, Bob.
Okay.
Let's go. What a place.
Back in Witney, in the heart of the Oxfordshire Cotswolds, one business has been producing a very British head attire for over 240 years. One of the oldest hat manufacturers in the UK, the company has passed through 8 generations of the Christie family before being sold on in the 1960s. It's now owned by a London-based department store. It makes headgear for not only your man and woman in the street, but also the rich and famous, and even royalty. At its peak, there would have been up to 3,000 workers on the production floor. Today, there are just 20, and Managing Director Steve Clark has worked here for just over 2 years.
Look at this, a hatter's paradise.
Absolutely, that old playground.
The range of styles here is extraordinary. Everything from classic country to very much man or woman about town. And I notice over here, even the police get a look in.
Indeed, yeah. We have the national contract for making police helmets.
That's a lot of helmets.
That's a lot of helmets. It's a lot of helmets, yeah.
Now, over the years, presumably, the great and the good have also worn Christie's hats.
Indeed.
Any highlights?
Yeah, a few. I mean, Prince Albert and Queen Victoria were both, ardent wearers. Churchill with his Homburg, Marlon Brando, the Godfather with his Homburg. We also Indiana Jones. The classic hats, I guess, are ours.
Now, it's hard for us to imagine these days, but there was a time when a man or a woman was considered not dressed correctly if they weren't wearing a hat.
Yes, the owner of the manor wore the top hat, the head gardener wore the bowler, and then all of the rest of the gardening team wore flat caps. So the whole household in the 19th century were all wearing some form of headwear.
So in a way, you could distinguish where somebody was in the class pecking order by the hat they were wearing.
Indeed, yeah, absolutely.
Well, not to be left out, I've got a taste for my own bespoke hat. Now, what would a smart man about the country have adorning his head? An Epsom hat, apparently.
So, Jules, this is the start point. This is a fur felt hood. It's made from rabbit fur. It's felted in Portugal. It's a byproduct, so everything is used from the animal. And with a chemical addition enables it to felt, so it effectively locks. So the material then locks as it's steamed around a cone, and that creates a beautiful, very strong and resilient finish. And it has the natural properties, obviously, of the rabbit fur, sort of fairly waterproof and a beautiful feel.
So that's how my Epsom is going to start.
That's how it starts, but by the end it'll be a beautiful Epsom for your head. And in fact, Kevin's the guy who's going to take you through and show you how it's done.
Kevin has been working in the factory for 34 years, and it's his job to hand-make felt hats from the original blocks. Over 50,000 are made here every year.
Well, the first job we do, Jules, is put it into this clamp and clamp the brim down. The next thing we do is we give it some steam so we can stretch that brim.
You're almost cooking it, aren't you? I love it.
That's getting very hot in there.
I bet it does.
This machine is over a century old, and Kevin is making my hat just like they did all those years ago. The felt absorbs the moisture, and as it gets softer, the brim can be stretched. Then a wooden sizing block is placed in the crown of the hat, which will make it the perfect size for me.
Push it right down, bring this clamp down.
Yeah.
You just pull that down, the lever, yeah?
And that's going to force the block into the felt.
Yeah.
So if it's not big enough, it's my fault.
Yeah, that's right.
Next, the hat is cooled and dried. It then goes into a press, which sets the crown and gives it the Epsom's distinctive characteristics.
There you have your initial shape of your hat.
Look at that. My hat really is taking shape.
What an unbelievable labour of love to produce my tailor-made hat. It goes through 45 processes in total that include shaving, waxing and curling before it has a quick turn on the rounder again, a buff with a brush and a blast of steam. I think we may be done.
Hang on, Jules, that's your finished hat.
Thank you very much indeed. But there is one final thing that seems to be missing, and that's a little band.
We'll have to go upstairs to see the girls and they'll finish it off for you.
A sweatband is stitched to the inside and the ribbons attached to the outside, and after it's lined, I'm good to go.
Wow, the famous box. Is it all done?
There you are, Jules. Yep.
Thank you very much indeed.
As the song says, wherever I lay my hat, that's my home. I just wonder if Jill and Bob have decided where to lay theirs.
Well, it's been a fantastic week with some fabulous properties in it, but despite Bob and Jill's generous budget, they can, of course, afford to buy only one of them. So which one is it likely to be? Well, they're just over there. Let's go and ask them. Well, you two, are you still convinced that this is a county that's for you?
It's reaffirmed for us that it's a great place to make this as a base for our new home.
But have we managed to find you a home here that you can look forward to the future in?
Well, I think we want to explore the possibility of putting in an offer on the mystery house.
Do you?
Yes.
Oh, OK.
A bit of research needs to be done, and just explore the area as well.
A mystery house full of beams, more than you could shake a stick at, and a project to boot.
Well, I think that's the key word, it's the project. We do fancy a project, and that certainly would offer scope.
If you can get it bright and airy on the inside, then I think it could be a fabulous place.
Well, you've both travelled the world. You've lived in some fabulous countries and destinations over the years. You're a lot of fun. You've got bags of energy, and I think the Mystery House is absolutely crying out for that injection of fun and energy and imagination, and I can't think of anyone better to take it on. So is an offer on the cards, then?
I think perhaps a cheeky offer might be on the cards.
To start with.
To start with.
But it's a really exciting proposition, isn't it?
It is.
Well, I wish you all the very best of luck, and let us know how you get on.
Absolutely, we will.
We will.
What a place to revisit in a few years' time.
Thank you, Jules. It's been great and a lot of fun.
Well, hopefully Bob and Jill are now well on their way to finding their new home, and I've got some very welcome new headgear, but I suppose in some respects looking for a house is a bit like looking for a hat. How do you know if you've got the right one? Well, in my experience, if it fits, wear it. I'll see you next time.
Jill and Bob didn't revisit the Mystery House because although they loved it, they concluded it was too big a project and too big for their needs. So they're continuing their search in Oxfordshire, and we wish them the very best of luck. If you would like to escape to the country in Northern Ireland, Scotland, Wales or England and would like our help, then please apply online at bbc.co.uk/Be On A Show.